Hello everybody and welcome. If you haven't been to this channel before, then this is going to be the first video detailing the experience that we've had selling our house here in France and buying a house back in Scotland where we originally come from. So first of all, we've lived here in France for 7 years. We moved here after our children went off to university in an attempt to retire. And we've tried that before, but we like to work, we like to keep busy, we like to keep our minds occupied. And here in France, we've run two successful businesses, holiday letting. So, what has changed? What has changed for us? Well, the tax regime here has altered slightly, and there is the call of home. So we didn't move from Scotland to France. We actually left Scotland over 20 years ago and moved to Cornwall, lived there for 13 years, and then we moved to France. And France is wonderful. I'm not knocking it in the slightest. The weather is great. The food is great, the healthcare is great, the people are nice and friendly once you get to know them. We love France. However, it's now time for us to start the next chapter in life. And this is very difficult for some people. And we didn't come to this decision lightly, but we have a 4.5 acre smallholding here in France, and we just decided it was time for us to downsize. We also have the needs of family, so it makes sense for us to spend some more time with our family because becoming to France is becoming a little bit complicated and is only going to get more so because Brexit keeps rearing its silly little head. So we have now decided to move back to Scotland. So the house here has been sold. We expect to leave here middle of November 2024. And after a very short buying house hunting trip in Scotland on my own, we have bought a cottage, and it's as exciting as that. So have a look at the pictures here of the house that we're leaving, and then we'll talk some more about why we chose to buy a house in Scotland in the location that we did. So a really nice house, isn't it? Private pool, little sheet to have some money coming in, beautiful French countryside, lovely, lovely villages nearby, and a great outdoor lifestyle. And it's time to move on. So, John and I are both Scottish, and we both come from the same area in the west of Scotland, and we decided it was time to return home. And having lived in a wonderful area in France, it's very difficult to go back to a suburban, normal house. And it's not really our kind of thing, anyhow. So we decided to look for a smaller character property. Now, the house that we have here is a 3 bedroom house plus a 1 bedroom sheet. We don't want to keep people in our next house, so we were looking for a 3 to 4 bedroom because I need one room to be an office. But we were looking for something cottagey. We were looking for something that had a bit of community feel about it, and we wanted some of that fantastic Scottish landscape around us. So we started looking at least 6 months ago online at properties around the west coast of Scotland and the Isle of Skye, the Isle of Mull, and latterly the Isle of Arran. And eventually we've narrowed it down. We thought the Isle of Skye was a little bit too north for us, and the climate would have been just such a culture shock from the climate that we have here in France. Don't get me wrong, it gets cold here in the winter. Some winters it can go down to -15, but they're blue sky days, and winter only lasts about a month. Whereas if we had moved to the Isle of Skye, winter lasts a lot longer, and blue sky days in the middle of winter aren't as common as they are here. So we decided to look further south and up our budget slightly. So we were looking at a maximum budget of £350,000. And I'm delighted to say we've actually spent less than that. But the flip side of that is that we've got to pay for an international removal, and it's quite complicated. And as you can see in the background, I've started packing. The pictures are off the wall. I'm starting to pack stuff up because we leave here in 6 weeks. No pressure. So, why did we decide on the house that we saw? Well, to be honest, only I saw it. John has never visited the house that we bought in Scotland. And he's seen the online video, he's seen the photographs, we've done a bit of research, and we know Scotland. So he's quite happy to accept my judgment and my decision to pick this house. And it is lovely. Now, I'm going to detail the house in another video, but I wanted to share the front photograph of the house and the location, because if you don't know Scotland, you won't know where the Isle of Arran is. And it's situated on the west coast of Scotland, basically horizontally west from Glasgow. And we have a bit of influence from the Gulf Stream, which means it doesn't get too cold, it doesn't get too hot. It's a lovely climate there. And Arran is one of the smaller islands, so there's not a huge population, which suits us. But we won't be isolated because this house has neighbours. So have a look at a couple of the pictures, and then I'll talk to you more about the house. So, what can I tell you about Lochranza? Well, it's a very small village of about 200 inhabitants. There is a distillery, there is a community owned pub, there is the ferry that goes from Lochranza over to the mainland, and the nearest big town on Arran is Brodick, and you can get a ferry from Brodick to Ardrossan in the mainland. So there's been a lot of controversy in the news lately about ferry breakdowns, etc. But this hasn't really been a factor for us. We don't envisage using the ferry every day. And there are numerous shops on the Isle of Arran, including a couple of supermarkets, that we can go and buy our groceries from. So we like to shop local, so it's a win-win for us. And of course, this little cottage has a tiny garden at the front, where I'm hoping to have a brand new vegetable garden, concentrating on easy to grow fruit such as raspberries, black currants, and strawberries. Maybe an apple tree, don't know yet. Need to see if it'll spoil the view. So there you have it. That's a little introduction to why we are moving from France back to Scotland, and why we're picking the Isle of Arran as our permanent location. Who knows? I've said that so many times, but at this stage in life, I think this is the right choice for us. John's delighted. He'll be able to see his sister more. He'll be able to have a small boat because we are right on the shore of Lochranza, which is a sea loch. So he is really pleased. So all it remains for me to say is thanks very much for watching this video. And if you want to see more about our new life on Arran, then subscribe to the channel and you won't miss anything at all. And right now, I'm going off to pack some more boxes because we're on 6 weeks and counting. Wish me luck.